Allie, what would you say to your early career self? So you just graduated from University of Richmond, and you can, send a text message or, call yourself then. What would you tell your, younger self that you know now that you wish you knew back then?
That's a hard question. I think there could be a lot of answers to that actually. Um, I'm just thinking about like back earlier too in my career. I know it's not graduation, but like earlier in my career, there was a lot of opportunity or like things that happened. So like for example, like someone I worked closely with and was like a great member of my team decided to leave and go to a new workplace. Like they got a new job. And like those were times where I felt uncomfortable. Like I was like, how am I gonna do this? Like this person is such a like key piece of this entire team. Like, but those all of those things are opportunities to for you to grow. So like being able to allow yourself to be uncomfortable in situations that like you may not see at that very moment, but like I think at the end of the day that they're all experiences that can go in your toolbox and like they may come up later in life like as something you can apply towards something else if that makes sense. So like even I like to tell the like younger folks here like sometimes we get projects where it's not something that you're interested in working on, but you should take that as the opportunity to like, okay, I'm gonna just dive deep into it. I'm gonna work hard and finish the project. And then you may not realize it at the very moment, but like there is a takeaway that is going to come out of this. So like for example, like if someone's manually entering data, which we don't really do anymore, but like it's just an example. But like if you're manually entering data, that's a tedious task. No one really wants to do this. It gets boring very quickly. But like for example, that could teach you to be like very detail oriented, focus on like, okay, I need to make sure that the data I'm putting through is correct. So, or like self-review, like it'll teach you to like really check your work. I always find that like in an experience, there's something to learn and take away and apply to the next one. Um,
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, it definitely there's no task that's too small, and even if it's menial, get a podcast or a good playlist like like
yeah,
sometimes
sometimes
like
you
that,
need
yeah.
that, right?
Exactly. There are have been times where, especially if I've been too high level for too long, the idea of then doing like a smaller menial task actually seems really comforting. I'm like, oh, I can just sit down for 3 hours, put my headphones in, and just like kind of like, there is something about that too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I also like what you said too about the like, if being on a team and there's like someone who you feel like is like kind of like a real expert in something, and then they leave, and then like that feeling of like, oh, like how is it going to go forward? And like most of the time, it usually is always fine. Like someone either is able to come in, or like even like in I've been in similar situations too, where like I thought I would never be able to do it because the expert like switched jobs, but then eventually I was able to find a way to make it happen. And then going back to a growth opportunity. So like even though it was very anxiety ridden, it was something of like, oh, I'm happy that it did happen, because then I do feel like I was like, wait, I did get an upgrade from doing it. So yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
The other thing is like, so I'm giving a second piece of advice, but especially earlier in your career, like you don't need to know everything, especially like a lot of or like associates, especially at PwC, I just remember answering questions like, what am I gonna do? Like about like I don't know how to do this. I even was worried like I'm coming in and I've only taken classes. I don't know what I'm doing, but like you're not expected to know a- really much. Like you just I think at the end of the day have a good attitude, be willing to work hard, and be pleasant to be around. And I think like that those are the things that matter the most and like be okay. It's okay to make mistakes, especially early on, because as you continue to like go up the ranks, those mistakes are probably not acceptable in the way they were when you were younger. So it's better to put yourself in those uncomfortable situations early on because you'll learn from it and then you won't make those same mistakes again.
Yeah, I love that too. Yeah, especially yeah, take advantage of the entry level of when the expectations are already that you'll be making mistakes versus yeah, when you go up the line. Yeah, so that's I think that was a great final remark. So thank you, Ali, for joining us today. This was a really great talk. I think it was very informative, and I think a lot of students will definitely get a lot out of listening to it.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. It was great to speak with you all. And enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
All
This
Thank you
was
for the talk.
great.
right, great. All right,
All
bye.
right.
Bye.
Bye, you
Goodbye.
guys. Thank you.
Bye.